Do you want to become a millionaire one day? Well, if you do, you first need to have the financial literacy and IQ of 1. And one of the best ways to attain this is by reading books. So in this video here, I'll be covering the top 5 books that I've read so far that have helped me increase my financial literacy. Now, if you're just starting out or you're a bit more down the road with your own personal finance journey, I think I'll have a book on this list for you. So make sure you stay tuned. So in today's video, I'll be covering 5 books that have had the biggest impact on my own personal financial literacy. Now, of course, I'm nowhere near complete on my own personal financial literacy. These are just the 5 books that have had the biggest impact in the way I've shaped the way I look at money. So these books here are going to cover not only the foundational concepts that you need to understand with cash flow or assets versus liabilities, but also give you a mindset shift towards the way you look at money. And in each of these books here that I'm going to be covering, not only will I be telling you why I enjoyed them, but also a couple golden nuggets I took from them, as well as who I would recommend to read the book. So if you're new here, my name is Matthew. I'm a realtor in the GTA, and this is my channel where I share everything I've learned around real estate, finance, or personal development, helping you make better informed decisions in your own life in less time. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to not miss out on any future of my videos. And if you gain one book to be added to your reading list, make sure to smash the like button, as it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. So the first book that really had the biggest impact on my financial literacy is Rich Dad Poor Dad. And this is the #1 bestseller of a personal finance book of all time. And there's for good reason for that. As Robert Kiyosaki, the author, goes over his childhood and how he was raised with 2 different dads, his rich dad and his poor dad. Now, his rich dad ran a business and understood the differences between assets versus liabilities, where his poor dad, on the other hand, had a college degree, was very highly educated in the academia system, but really didn't understand the full concept of money. And in this book here, you really see the difference or the clash in viewpoints on how each of them viewed money. So if you want to become rich one day, you want to act as Robert's rich dad. And one of the key concepts Robert's rich dad taught Robert is know the difference between an asset and a liability. And essentially what an asset is something that puts money into your pocket, where a liability is something that takes money away from your pocket. So the second true concept I learned in this book was that the rich don't work for money, rather they make their money work for them. You see, you'll never truly become wealthy if you're only exchanging your time for money, as this is a finite resource, and when you stop working, so does the money coming in. Rather, what you want to be doing is buying or acquiring these assets. Now, assets could be anything like a business you create, a book you write, or it could be in the form of a stock, indexes, bonds, cryptocurrency, gold, and more. But what you want to do is make sure that you are not the only source of income stream is your own time, but rather have parts of ownership of other assets that will generate you money. And the third key takeaway I had from this book was this really big mindset shift. Anytime you see something in the store, so let's just pick a very big example, a Lamborghini, rather than saying, I can't afford this, ask yourself how you can afford this. This will put you more into a problem-solving mindset, allowing you to not only have the belief that you can eventually attain this, but it will also open your eyes to other opportunities to increase your income. Now, I would recommend this book for anyone that has not read any personal finance book, as this truly gives a great foundation for your financial literacy. Now, the second book that really had a big financial impact on laying the foundation for my financial IQ was Think and Grow Rich. Now, of course, this is an absolute classic that's been around for time, and there's a reason for this. And essentially, this book covers all about your mindset towards money. So regardless if you're just starting out in personal finance, you're an experienced accountant, or a real estate pro, having the correct mindset towards money is absolutely crucial. So the first key mindset shift that I took away from this book was that your daily thoughts truly matter, as your daily thoughts turn into your weekly and daily actions. And your daily and weekly actions will determine where you end up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years out. And this is absolutely crucial, as when you start looking into things with abundance rather than scarcity, with how can I afford this rather than I can't afford this, it opens up your minds to seeing riches in other areas of your life that you can grow and expand into. So how do you expect to be wealthy if you have a very limited mindset? And this is exactly what this first point talks about, is open up your mindset to have an abundance mindset and rather look at money as everywhere that you can attain. As long as you go after it, it is achievable. So I'd recommend this book for anyone that needs a mindset shift towards the way they look at money. If you're looking at it currently in a scarcity mindset and you want to change it to an abundance mindset, this is a classic that I would highly recommend. So now that you have a solid foundation of personal finance from Rich Dad Poor Dad and abundance mindset from Think and Grow Rich, the next logical book I think you should read is Unshakable by Tony Robbins. And essentially what Unshakable is it teaches you about the stock market and its basics so that you know how you can succeed in both good times and bad. So in this book here, Tony gives great lifelong principles that can help you succeed in your financial journey. And one of the biggest takeaways I took from this was that your biggest threat to creating true wealth is yourself. As all too often, when investors are in the stock market, it's too much of an emotional game for them. And this is readily seen as a lot of millennials are actually not in the stock market because they're worried about a correction or a crash in the stock market. And I don't blame them because it's all over the news. But when you start to become more educated, you start to see the actual true facts, as most often news outlet channels are more of an opinion rather than factual. And the facts are that the stock market, roughly over its entire history, every 3 years out of 4 are increasing years with 1 down year. And as a result, this has seen the stock market rise at an average annual rate of 8% a return. Now, when you compare that to what most millennials have, or a lot of people have, which is cash, and they think cash is safe because the number doesn't change in your bank account, what you don't see is the inflation that is affecting that cash. And on average, the inflation rate is about 2%. What that means is that cash you have in the bank isn't actually staying at that level, but rather it's decreasing 2% every year in its purchasing power. And this is why when you go to the superstore, groceries cost more, gas costs more, alcohol costs more, everything goes up due to inflation, and that is because the dollar is going down in value. So when you're making investments decisions, make sure to take your emotional mind out and only use your rational mind. And if you look at this problem rationally, would you rather have 8% increasing every year or 2% decreasing every year? Which one would you choose? I'm going to choose the 8%. But the problem is so many people get emotional about these crashes and corrections in the market. What you should change your mindset to is when these crashes or corrections do happen, it's not a selling opportunity because the world's going to come to an end, but rather a buying opportunity as everything is on sale. And Tony talks about exactly what strategies you can do to not only take advantage of these corrections, but also how you can just build long-term wealth in the stock market. So building off the Unshakable theme and Tony Robbins, this next book here is a quick bonus book that is, if you've already understand the basics of personal finance, you have the mindset down, you have a general idea of how to invest in the stock market, and you're looking for something that's a little bit more into the weeds of personal finance and investing, then I would highly recommend Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. And essentially what this is essentially a blown out version of Unshakable going into the true weeds of personal finance. So the big takeaway I took away from this book was that your financial journey isn't about that single destination that you may think about of, let's say, $1 million, but rather it's a financial journey that you're trying to achieve. And Tony believes that there's 5 steps in your financial journey. The first is financial security. And this is enough when you build up enough assets, whether that's bonds, stocks, real estate investments, or other types of assets that are generating you enough money to cover your basic living essentials. The next step on the journey is financial vitality and then financial independence. And financial independence is essentially saying that your lifestyle as lived right now, so not just the basic necessities, not just you living now comfortably, but your current lifestyle and all the luxuries you have with it are covered by your passive income. And in order to do this, you need to have a sizable net income. So one of the formulas Tony recommends to at least give you a starting point is take your monthly expenses, multiply that by 12, and then multiply that number by 20. This number here should give you a nest egg that will cover those monthly expenses that you entered in the beginning of that calculation. So the next 2 steps on the financial journey is financial freedom and absolute financial freedom. And Absolute financial freedom is where you hit the pinnacle of your financial journey, and this is where you can literally support your dream lifestyle through your investments. So after reading this book, not only will you better understand the financial weeds that are associated with investing in personal finance, but you'll be getting one of the best portfolio constructions that has been tested throughout the history of the stock market, created by one of the best investors in the world, Ray Dalio. So now that you understand the investment class of investing in the stock market, there are other assets you can turn to diversify your income streams. And one of the best asset classes that I truly believe in is real estate. So if you're in Canada, like myself, the book I would highly recommend anyone to read if you're interested in investing in real estate in the Canadian market is Real Estate Investing in Canada, the ARC System. And this book is fantastic, as not only is it a super easy read for anyone that is getting started, as it literally walks you through a story about their own personal real estate investor starting on his journey, being mentored by Don Campbell, the author of this book, taking this new real estate investor through his proven system that is shown to work in the Canadian markets. Now, what's great about this book is as he's walking you through the system, not only does he let you know the system, but he provides resources, links, guides, so that you can make the best informed decision, truly making this book almost like a playbook for buying your first real estate investment deal. So by reading this book, you'll be extremely prepared and well advanced over the beginning typical real estate investor, as I promise you, there is so much golden nuggets to glean from this. And one of the ones I personally took away myself was his gold mine scorecard of a property and just how to better evaluate investment properties, exactly what numbers to look for, as well as just what to look for in an investment property. All right, so this final book I'm going to be sharing with you today is truly the book that has made the biggest impact on my own financial journey. And it isn't even a personal finance or investment book. And for that matter, I believe this is a book, at least for myself personally, that is a must read at least once a year. And this book is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And at the beginning of the video, I asked you, do you want to become a millionaire? And your answer was most likely yes, as so is everyone else's. But what Tim argues in The 4-Hour Workweek is you actually truly don't want to become a millionaire, as in the sense that you have $1 million in your bank account. Rather, what you truly want is that millionaire lifestyle of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. And what's great about the 4-Hour Workweek is Tim shows you, hey, it's actually a lot cheaper than what you would think to live that millionaire lifestyle that you want to achieve. But he also outlines policies, procedures, and guidelines and systems that you can implement regardless if you're a business owner, a solo entrepreneur, or an office worker, as Tim shares a variety of case studies showing that this mindset and this model of lifestyle works in all areas of life. So rather than focus on that numeric number that the old rich focuses on, which in this case was $1 million in your bank account, focus on time freedom, because time freedom will give the ability for you to live that millionaire lifestyle that you want to live. And for myself, what that new rich definition is time freedom, location freedom, and what freedom. If I can achieve these 3 things, then I believe I'll be financially wealthy. That doesn't mean I'm going to have $1 million or $1 billion in the bank. That's not at all what it means, but it'll allow me to live the lifestyle that I so desperately want to live. And this was a massive, mind-blowing moment when I first read this book, as for the whole time I had that arbitrary goal, as everyone else does, of $1 million, let's say. But that has completely changed my end goal after reading this book. So there you guys have it. Those are the 5 books that have truly helped me progress down my own personal road of the personal financial journey. Now, of course, there's a variety of other great financial books out there that I couldn't include in this video. And if you think I missed one, I'm always looking for other books to read. So make sure to drop in the comments, as I'll be for sure to add that to my reading list. And if I helped you find one book that you're going to add to your reading list, make sure to smash the like button, as it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you enjoy this type of content around real estate, finance, or personal development, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, as you're not going to want to miss out on any one of my videos. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great and successful week, and I'll talk to you next week.